I should always expect the Latin Americans to go 5 games. Always. Hi, my name's Sebastian. This is Vision Denial on the road to MSI, where I watch all 12 regions playoff series. The one specifically going to MSI. Yes, that one, even this one here. And with that, I want to say a big old congratulations to the third team to have qualified to MSI. Gillette's Infinity. Round of applause. Cool. They won in a reverse sweep. Our second one, I think, of the series. They don't happen very often, so it's notable. It's I don't know what to do with you, Latin America. Like, on the one hand, you guys have creative picks. On the other hand, sometimes your drafting makes no sense. Just conceptually speaking. One hand, you have very skilled players, and it makes a lot of dynamic things. On the other hand, they get caught all the time. it, Sometimes you have a solid plan and it executes. Other times you just kind of dilly-dally and do absolutely nothing for 30 minutes. It's a big trade-off, right? Whereas like the Pacific region, you expect that some teams are very good and some teams are very bad. And like in Brazil, you expect really good team fighting, but like everything else is just kind of all over the place. Here you just get like they're good at everything and bad at everything. And it makes them, as a tier 3 region, very hard to read where they'll land internationally. It doesn't help that there's only 3 playoff series to ever read them from every time. And that historically they don't do that well on international scenes. They surprise people. They take a game off every so often, but well, let's talk about this game. Things that I thought were interesting, not necessarily that I liked or dislike, but that were interesting, was the sudden shift of watching jungle priority on so much of these playoff series around the world, and heck, even including in this region, to go to the finals and there's priority for top lane picks. Jungle priority just goes out the window, just completely, on both sides. The fuck is up with that, guys? Gnar is not that good that blind picking it B1 is the plan. No. But I guess that doesn't matter. The other thing that I thought was interesting is that the vision game was non-existent for games 1 and 2, improved in game 3, was actually existed in game 4, and in game 5 they just seemed to have their shit together. I think it's like the theme of this is that it was a gradual progressive improvement from both teams. Alright, those are the 2 major things that I thought were just interesting. Like, they were neither good nor bad. I mean, contextually, I think having to need all 5 games to get to a standard that makes sense for the region tier placement they're in is a little nutty, but you know. The things that I don't like. I am not a big fan of the way that map rotation or map movement specifically was approached. It got a lot of teams caught. A lot of the times there's just random people that are getting caught a lot, specifically. And I wrote down, like, let's see here. What are their names? Oh, Boogie and... Oh, goodness. This is why you need to memorize everybody's names. There's only so many names I can remember, especially when I'm already bad at naming names. Bot laner for Furious Gaming. Why? Why am I blanking now? Why? Airy. There it is. Right. I don't think I've mentioned that this is. I can't believe I've skipped a whole step. Yes. So we got Gillette, Gillette's Infinity versus Furious Gaming. Cool. We're good. We understand what's going on. Great. Yeah. No. Honestly, most of the players on both sides, I think almost every single one of them, except for Johnny, or Johnny, Honey. Honey? God, I don't know. I'm very rusty in Spanish. I wouldn't be able to, it's not a French name. French is my first language. It's not an English name. I can kind of get French. I don't. I'm going to go with Joni for now until I'm corrected otherwise. Joni, I think, was the most consistent player across the board. And thumbs up all around. It honestly surprised me that there was some consistency here. It's unfortunately that he lost. Bugax also, I think, was pretty good. Unfortunately, because he's a top laner that plays very aggressively with his team, he also got caught a lot. And I think that's going to be a major weakness for them. Map movement is almost a top priority when it comes to international play, because if you are not better than the opponent at moving across the map, you're just going to lose out on everything, right? If two teams are equal in terms of team fighting or setting up neutral objectives or vision and everything else, right? If they cannot move from one point to the other as fast or faster, they're going to lose, right? And they have to do so safely and efficiently. They can't just be like, oh, let's go, right? It's not the same thing as oh, I can TP and you TP in the middle of all of them and then you die. Not gonna lie, the series took a lot out of me, which is really unfortunate because Latin America usually is a very fun region, but they didn't do anything interesting with their picks. They didn't do, and it's not. I'm gonna talk like I'm entitled for a little bit, but they'll do what they need to do to win, which I can appreciate. But there's that zest, that zestiness that from Latin America that was missing, that really pushed them over the edge to where I think they were deservedly in tier 3, compared to what their results usually show would put them equivalently in tier 4 with Australia, Japan, and Brazil, because that's what their historical record indicates, as well as just everything else that they play, unfortunately. Because I could go on about their weak vision play up until game 4 and 5 for both sides. That's something that Infinity will have to improve on. They'll have to improve on vision play. They'll have to improve on the way they set up for neutral objectives. They'll have to improve on a myriad of things. And I don't think they're particularly strong at team fighting, which is bizarre coming from a meta that requires team fighting. And I'm pretty sure they did fine in team fighting in the previous series against All Knights. That was not a sore spot for me at the time. They do have high skill expression amongst their players, but that's not new to me in terms of this region. Most of the Americas has very high skill expression players, and so they don't always show it, but they do. This is the thing with all of these 12 regions. These 12 regions show a myriad of high skill expression players. I think with the exception of Japan, which is very much one team and then everybody else is trying, which is unfortunate. And honestly, I want to see them do well. But given the information that I have, I cannot for the life of me, and I hate saying this, so I'm just gonna like, uh, so right here, I'm doing this right here. I mentioned, oh, yeah, I mentioned in the video where Pentanet GG versus Peace that from now on, every time that a new team qualifies, right over here, I'll put in the ranking of who I think, of what I think so far of the teams that are qualified, and I'm gonna put Infinity in last. Unfortunately, there's not enough games for me to like discern if this was an anomaly or not. They came back. Honestly, Furious Gaming 3-0'd them. I think I might have placed Furious Gaming a little higher, but like this reverse sweep and this string of very messy attempts at aggressively gaining leads, the lack of ability to balloon leads when it's necessary, the dependency on Baron to close out games when it's not necessary to use Baron, the weak team fighting across the board, uh, the fact that like neutral objective play was weak up until game 5. There's like just a lot of things that this series bothered me, which is unfortunate because like even if it's goofy or wacky or there's like some stuff to improve across the board, Latin America's finals usually are a lot more fun. They show that there's like forethought and things to be creative and plan, and this didn't have that. This just had, we were attempting to play out how the other regions play, but failing to grasp as to why that worked. Latin America thrived on their own thing, and the fact that they've copied so to the book something that is being done everywhere else, while everybody else around the world is picking out very unique and variety of things here and there, like they're splashing their own style to it, is really saddening. And it's unfortunate because Latin America really is good at playing their own thing. Like it's goofy and sometimes it really ought to not work, and they like there's like a dissonance on a like fundamental ability to play the game and what they think should be the win, but it works for them because they catch people off guard and they know how to catch people off guard in international play, and that's why I usually rank them a little higher than everybody else in the lower end of the seating. But this was just not it. It was really unfortunate. It was very hard to get through in terms of a series. Things I did like near the tail end of it was that Infinity had finally recognized, and I think I like it because it shows that there's like a nugget of hope for this region. But Infinity had figured out finally what Furious Gaming's like modus operandi, their MO, and they were very clearly reading the win conditions properly. And I thought, great, that's signs of life, fantastic. But like it was kind of sloppy all over the board. It didn't pan out as cleanly, and it just kind of fell flat on its nose. So with that, until I see a worse team qualify or like something else shows up, we'll find out. We'll see what Japan's, because they're the next one, right? So until I see a different region doing worse, like we'll see with Brazil, we'll see with Japan, who are tier 4 regions, but Australia shows better support and more consistency than this than Infinity does. So Pentanet GG is higher in the seeding, but there's only 3 teams, so it's more of a race for last place than it is for first right now. Until we get to the finals for Europe and China, which will be a bit, but you know. You guys let me know in the comments down below what you think. Next up, I mentioned it, we're going to Japan for what I believe is Detonation Focus Me versus V3. That'll be fun. I mean, Japan's finals are usually a little all over the place also, but it should be fun. Leave a like and subscribe and a comment down below if you enjoyed the video. And I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.